Welcome to episode 1 of the Games Tasker podcast. I'm joined with Brendan.
Hi, mate. I am delighted to be here. Very excited about the next few months and weeks and whatnot. Really getting into it.
Excellent. Yes, and for you guys, we are a new podcast. We were part of the Lads of the Past Crusade, but now we have created our own podcast, our own game show, and we've got videos all over on YouTube with 1-minute reviews. We've got game reviews, we've got top 10s, we've got all sorts coming, and we've got lots of streaming stuff coming up as well. There's streaming videos on there as well, so yeah, if you guys are interested, go over to our YouTube channel and just type in Games Tasker. So today's game, we're going to be talking about The Warriors on the PlayStation 2. And for you guys who don't know this, it was made in 2005 and it is based on the 1979 film The Warriors. For you, Brendan, is one of the best games you've ever played, so you can start it off. I mean, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, like you said there, mate, 2005, definitely, and still probably is one of the most, the games that I was most excited for when I heard it was getting released by Rockstar. I was like, this is the game that we needed, and it was brilliant. It absolutely brilliant. It exceeded kind of my expectations a little bit. I loved the backstory that it gave to Cleon. It was obviously the warlord of the Warriors in the movie. It just gave a little backstory to his rise and how we got the gang together almost. Brilliant storytelling. I'm big into my storytelling games, Liam, to be honest. And hopefully over the next coming months and whatnot, I'll be doing a few playthroughs on storytelling games. But yeah, this is up there for me, mate. This is because I'm a massive, huge fan of the film. So this was brilliant for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, like we've discussed this 1,000 times, where we, the intro of I'm gonna get you, sucker. That is always to me like. I get goosebumps every time I shout suckers as well. You can't say suckers anymore. It was in the 70s. Sucker was like a cool thing to say, and But the film was fantastic. I mean, the film was just. I mean, I've watched it a million times. I've watched it recently as well. I mean, I watched RoboCop and I was quite disappointed with RoboCop, weirdly. But The Warriors was fantastic, and the game on the PlayStation was just. I mean, for me, it's like you said. It's like Warriors. I thought Warriors ended really quickly. Like they just got on the train and they got home, but you didn't see anything else. And I think the Warriors game goes on after that. And I think that's what a lot of fans wanted and needed. It was like the same in Scarface, instead of him dying, it continues for him not dying. And I think people want these kind of games, especially like the Warriors. Again, if you guys don't know who the Warriors is or what the game is or the film, check out the film The Warriors. But it's basically set in the 1970s New York City. It follows a street gang. They're kind of like framed for murder. Is that right? They're framed for murder, if I can remember. They got. Yeah.
Obviously, the guy that was kind of trying to head up all the gangs, so the guy that says, "Can you dig it, suckers?" Obviously, he gets shot, and then the Warriors are kind of framed for it. They have to make their way back to Coney Island.
Right. So, if in the Warriors, I wanted to add something to the Warriors. The one thing that I thought the game was missing, right? So, if you can think of something, the one thing I thought what it needed was. There's so many gangs in the Warriors, right? I would have loved to have created my own gang.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, mate, it's one of, if you go on like Facebook or wherever your social media, there was a lot of call for a Warriors remaster.
Okay.
And what they're saying is, to put in an online kind of element to it, it is what you're saying there. People want to be able to create their own gangs, give them, the moves or whatever, and do it that way. But yeah, I think it would be. I mean, PS2 did have. I'm sure it had like some online thing. You had to buy something for the back of it. But yeah, I think it's needed if they ever do get to remake it or at least remaster it. They need to put in an online thing about that. I've definitely seen that mentioned, mate, on forums and stuff.
My God, imagine that. Online Warriors creating your own gang.
Amazing.
Mate,
amazing.
That is, again, to me, I would be drawn to that straight away. Even if I'm not a fan of the Warriors. Like, I would love that.
there's hours and hours of gameplay there. You know, like if you've got your mates, and even if like you have say 5, like a bit like team deathmatch or whatever, and you're in 4 mates, you're in a little gang, you're trying to take over other gangs' turf and stuff or whatever. It'd be amazing.
Oh,
It'd be really, really good.
Imagine it.
Really,
Exactly.
really
Like
good.
I could go online with my gang and go, "Oh, I'm going to team up with the Brendons,"
Well, that's right, yeah.
and just fucking team up. I mean, oh, sorry for swearing. I'll bleep that out. But yeah. So, I mean, without picking the Warriors, who's your favourite gang? If you was going to be able to create a gang for the Warriors, who would be your favourite gang?
I think it'd have to be the Baseball Furies. I just think they look cool with the Yankee style baseball kits and the bats and face paint. It'd have to be the Furies, mate. Yeah.
Definitely. Really? I like the roller skate gang. I thought that was dead clever. I
It's
absolutely
clever.
thought it was really clever.
It's weird. It's weird though, isn't it? Because obviously the main gang is called the Warriors. Then you had the Bold gang, which is called the Turnbull ACs. You had the Baseball Furies. You had other gangs that are mentioned in there, like Electric Eliminators. But then that gang is just called the Punks.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
It's a great gang, but the name needs a little bit more hyping up, if you ask me. But yeah, they're a good gang. That guy following him on the roller skates was a great scene as well. To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I did like about the Warriors as well is you don't really get. Do you get guns? I don't think you can get guns, can you?
No.
No. If I remember rightly, you can't get guns. So it's just like baseball bats, broken bottles, bricks, and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's right.
Because it is a melee-based fighting game, which is quite rare with games. Because especially gangs and stuff like that as well. You know, to find a game that hasn't got that kind of violence and whatnot. It's just brilliant. I mean, what did you think to the soundtrack?
Oh, the soundtrack had the original film soundtrack in the PS2 version, but when it was released on PS3 as a remaster in the PS4, due to licensing restrictions, obviously couldn't use the original soundtrack. But the PS2 game did have the original soundtrack, which is a really good soundtrack on its own, anyway.
So the remake in 2016 was the one that didn't have the original soundtrack. Is that right? And then the others had the original soundtrack.
That's right, mate. Yeah, because I don't know what I think it's due to licensing restrictions. I mean, I can't understand how they can, get the licensing for the PS2, obviously the original release, but then not get it for the remastered version for the PS3 and PS4. Bit weird. But
would you, if they was going to remake the game again or make it like you said the online thing, would you have the original soundtrack from the original PS2 game, or would you rather have a new soundtrack?
I think you've just got to stick with it. Then I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the game itself, from start to end, is perfect. Just get it up to date, graphics, whatever, sound, picture quality, and then with the online version, maybe add some different kind of songs from other whatever kind of genres into that. But I don't think the game itself needs to be touched. I really don't. I just think it needs to be remastered, rebuilt from start to end, and I think it would be really successful on like the PS5, say for instance. But it does need that online multiplayer kind of look to it if it ever is redone and re-released.
Yeah, definitely 100%. What was your favourite part or your favourite thing that happened in the game?
For me, it's the backstories of how Swan and Snow joined the gang. Basically, there's just 2 guys there, and you're having a scrap on. You have to make it to the top of this like kind of pallet mountain. You have to stay at the top within the time limit, and that's how basically Swan and Snow are introduced into the Warriors gang.
Yeah,
but that was a good level. There's many, but that one probably sticks out in my mind. If I had one flaw to the game, which there isn't many for me, I just found a few levels too dark.
I was going to say that's my only issue with the game. a lot of it was in the dark. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. The Warriors are always out at night time. I get that, and they don't go out in the day really. But it was a dark game. You had to put your brightness up on your TV. I totally agree with that. Even with my monitors as well. Like again, I've been playing it on the PlayStation, and it's the brightness needs adjusting. I mean, what did you think to the character development? I mean, I loved it. I mean, going to the gym, smashing the punch bags, and doing your weights before you go back out and fight the gangs. I thought that was awesome.
It's good, mate. And you had the little side missions, didn't you? So if you do your bit of training, then you go up to like I don't know if it was a jukebox or like an arcade machine.
Yeah.
And you get to do little side missions. I mean, the game had it all for 2005.
Yeah, yeah.
We're talking PlayStation 2 as well. I mean, we know it was a great console, but it had so much, and that's why I say that it doesn't need doctoring that much. There's a few little minor things that have changed, like we just discussed, the brightness of the game maybe and stuff, but the game itself doesn't need much tweaking, mate, for me.
I agree. I mean, I tell you what, I love the fact that when you're doing like leveling your characters as well, you get like I think don't quote me on this, you get brass knuckles, steel toe caps, and all those kind of things like added to your energy as well to make you like tougher and stuff like that. I thought that was fantastic. I mean, because again, it's melee combat, it's not shooting, it's all melee based. I mean, sometimes I felt it was a bit clunky when there was too many, and when there's like, say 15 of them all just scrapping, and you're just trying to hit the same guy, and it then literally just keeps getting knocked over and keeps getting just blokes flying everywhere.
Yeah, I think in what you're saying there is a little bit of button bashing to it, which kind of it doesn't ruin the game for me, but there is times when it can all come on top, let's say that, and you do start button bashing a bit. But it's just a minor flaw, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh, they are tiny tweaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tiny tweaks. But yeah, I mean, if you was going to rate the Warriors, what would you rate it out of 10?
I mean, I'm not just saying it, mate. I think because it's got your little side missions, you can rumble mode with other gangs that are in the game. It's got, once you complete the game, you get like another game at the end of it, a bit like a double dragon kind of thing. So for me, easily, mate, 10 out of 10. And I'm not just saying that, I mean, because I love the Warriors so much, but I do, and the game was perfect for me. Easily 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Fantastic. And I agree. It is a 10 out of 10 game. It's fantastic. I mean, I put it on our top 10 on YouTube, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's totally deserved. It's a brilliant game. The story, graphics. So if you guys haven't played the Warriors, now's your chance to get it on the PS2. It's definitely one to play. And these are our 15-minute review, and that's over. So I just want to thank Bren for joining us for the Warriors on the PS2. And if you guys have got any questions, go over to our YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to do. We're everywhere. Come and see us, come and visit us, and let us know what you think. And that was our episode 1. I'll see you in episode 2. Brendan, thank you very much.
Cheers, pal. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
The guppy.